Hello and welcome to the week ahead from the Financial Times in London. Coming up this week, problems in the world economy will top the agenda at the annual G7 summit in Japan. Ailing Silicon Valley icon Hewlett-Packard puts its faith in 3D printing. And EU foreign ministers continue to grapple with the migration crisis. First up, this week, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is hosting the annual G7 World Leaders Summit in central Japan. The leaders will start with a visit to the Ise Grand Shrine, the most sacred site in Japan's traditional Shinto religion, before settling down for the informal talks that characterise the G7. Germany's Angela Merkel and David Cameron of the UK are set to resist Mr Abe's push for more fiscal stimulus. Mr Cameron's also hoping for support to keep Britain inside the EU, with the UK's referendum on an EU membership only a few weeks away. While Mr Abe will want to focus on China, seeking G7 consensus to oppose any change to the status quo in the South China Sea. Tokyo correspondent Leo Lewis says it's a packed agenda.
They've got the Brexit issue to worry about, they've got the Zika virus to worry about, and of course they've got, as all of these meetings do, the world economy to discuss. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is sitting there after 4 years of his Abenomics growth programme. He wants to showcase this. It's not clear that it's been a success, and he's going to be wanting to talk about more fiscal stimulus. There'll be resistance to that from people round the table, and the final communique, which of course is the bit that everyone will be interested in, will show just how far they got in those discussions. Afterwards, President Obama will be going down to Hiroshima, the first time that a US sitting president has done that since the atomic bombing of that city in 1945. It's a big moment for US-Japan relations after what is a very big meeting for the G7 nations.
Other topics of the G7 summit will include Syria, relations with Russia, and the rise of Donald Trump in the US. And feeding into the debate this week on the global economy will be Purchasing Managers' indices data for Europe, which may show either that the Eurozone's economy's strong start to the year has continued, or that it's been hit by uncertainty due to events in Greece and the possibility of Britain leaving the EU. And now to HP, maker of printers and personal computers, which is expected to announce a continued slide in revenues when it publishes earnings this Wednesday. The company, a Silicon Valley stalwart founded in 1939, recently split its hardware and enterprise units into two separate listed companies, aiming for each new, smaller business to achieve growth. However, with a contraction in printer and laptop sales, analysts forecast revenues will be down 9% from a year ago, falling to $11.7 billion. The FT's Alan Livesey says HP is looking to new areas for eventual growth, including 3D printing.
So I think investors will be looking to hear from Meg Whitman, the head of HP, what's happening for growth. The company's become a bit of a value trap, and what I mean by that is they generate positive free cash flow after investments, around $2 billion plus a year, but they're in some kind of mature businesses. PCs for one, printers, there's not a lot of growth in that. So what's coming next? They've recently launched a 3D printer, and these are for more, possibly more industrial uses. So where is that going? That won't hit profits probably for at least a year, if not more, but it promises something for the future.
And finally, EU foreign ministers will be gathering in Brussels to discuss their response to the crisis in Syria and Iraq as refugees continue to try to enter Europe via Turkey, even though numbers have dropped significantly from their peak last autumn. UN official François Crépeau last week criticised EU actions so far.
I think that there is a lack of vision at EU level. We are collectively in Europe in a situation where there is no long-term human rights-based migration policy that would include all aspects of migration and mobility and refugee protection.
EU foreign ministers will also discuss ways of stemming migration from more stable countries, offering countries aid in exchange for controversial deportation deals that would make it easier to send illegal migrants and failed asylum seekers back to their home countries. And that's what the week ahead looks like from the Financial Times in London.